Hello, welcome along to the Met Office 10-day trend. We've passed the autumn equinox now, so often this time of year you get big changes in the weather, ups and downs. But the major change over the next 5 days certainly is those temperatures are going down. Yes, a much cooler feel and a much wetter spell of weather, certainly for the rest of this working week. Into the weekend, well, it remains cold with a touch of frost for quite a few of us, but actually through the weekend it should at least turn a little bit drier for many of us as well. Beyond that, into next week, well, temperatures could start to recover, but all the time probably staying on the cool side, and it looks fairly changeable next week as well, with further spells of wind and rain on the cards. Let's take a look at the bigger picture, because we've seen quite a dramatic change. For many of us, it was a really warm start to the working week, but this weather front swinging south on Wednesday, clearing away that warmth, followed by a really active area of low pressure that just swirled its way across the country during Thursday. As that starts to pull away during Thursday night and into Friday, well, it allows northerly winds to set in, and they will bring a real chill to proceedings during Friday night and into the weekend, with those mornings especially on the fresh side. Why have we seen the dramatic change? Well, it's all to do with a shift in the jet stream. The jet stream has been to the north of the UK for much of the past week or so, but now it's pushing down to the south, and quite an active arm of the jet stream as well, and actually driving down to the south, and where we see that little dip just across the UK, well, that's a breeding ground for areas of low pressure. We call that a trough. Now, why have we seen the shift in the jet stream over here? Well, that's to do with what's going on the other side of the Atlantic, and what was Hurricane Teddy, now an area of low pressure, an active area of low pressure. There's lots of energy in that system because it is an ex-tropical system pushing north across eastern Canada, and that is pushing the jet stream north in that part of the world. And then we're on the downward dip on the other side, and that's why we've seen that dramatic change in our weather patterns. What does it mean on the ground? Well, for Wednesday, Thursday and Friday, a big change to much wetter weather, in particular on Thursday, back to a washing machine kind of day with that low milling in, spells of heavy rain swirling across the country, lots of heavy showers and gusty winds too. It's not all doom and gloom though. Parts of Scotland will do all right for sunshine through Thursday and Friday, but elsewhere, as I say, expect some pretty heavy showers and some gusty winds. That low pressure system, though, does start to show signs of pulling away on Friday, but you'd think that would be the end of it. However, because the jet stream's driving south and not across the UK, there's nothing to really clear that low pressure system, so it doesn't fully disappear. It kind of lingers to the east and may even start to head back our way during the weekend, because the weekend's a bit of a battleground, really. Everything becomes quite slow moving. There's that low pressure to the east, which might just start to push back in, and there's weather fronts trying to edge in from the Atlantic as well. But for most of the UK, we're between those weather systems. So although it will be chilly this weekend with northerly winds, large parts of the UK looking dry and bright, and we should see some sunshine. But there is that uncertainty as that weather front tries to come back across the east. There could be some rain across eastern England, especially on Sunday. And those weather fronts trying to push in from the west could bring some cloud and rain across parts of the west at times this weekend as well. But overall, the weekend looking dry and bright for many. Just that uncertainty about how far in the rain gets in the far east and the far west. And that uncertainty stems from the influence of that ex-Hurricane Teddy across eastern Canada. Beyond that, into the early part of next week, well, still some uncertainty, but it does look as if Monday especially, the weather fronts win out both in the west and the east and close the gap, and so the early part of next week looking cloudy with rain across large parts of the UK. What's going on high up in the atmosphere next week will determine how much of a change we see through the middle and latter part of next week. Again, looking at the bigger picture, you can see that the jet stream is no longer driving to the south of the UK, trying to, again, come in more from the Atlantic. But at the same time, there's a strange arm of the jet stream coming in from the east, which is pushing that low in from the North Sea. Which one will win out? Well, initially, there's a bit of a stalemate, but it does look as if, as the week goes on, the Atlantic influence will start to dominate, and we'll start to see weather systems again pushing in from the west and from the Atlantic. That means we'll start to see temperatures rising up a little bit as well, as this graphic shows. This is the temperature trend for Birmingham as seen by the European model through next week. You can see the drop in temperatures, those red blobs dropping down below the average line there into the weekend, but showing signs of recovering a little bit through next week. Notice, however, they do stay around or even a touch below average, even for most of next week. So nothing warm, just not as cold as it will be over the weekend. Notice that temperature rise as well with the blue blobs. They drop down. That's the nighttime minimum temperature. They drop down below average for the weekend and then recover somewhat. The blobs get bigger next week as well because we've got more uncertainty again relating to just exactly which influences our weather more, the east or the west. But overall, next week it looks like we're going to see more of an Atlantic influence, slow-moving weather patterns. We're not going to see any dramatic changes, not a really active jet stream, or the weather patterns remaining fairly stuck. So we'll see slow-moving areas of low pressure, it looks like, for much of next week, bringing further spells of wet and windy weather with temperatures closer to average, but still not particularly warm. So that's it. That's the 10-day trend. As always, for day-to-day details, if you need to know what the weather's doing where you are on any specific day, make sure you're following the Met Office on social media or download our app.